Let's see if it's showing. Okay, so this was from one of my first videos, proving the ether part 1. So I was dabbling on to try and see if we can figure out how to prove the ether or whatever, and what it could be. So obviously all I was saying, according to physics, the ether theory is known as ether theories because you have more than one actually. The purpose, the existence of a medium. So in other words, it has to be physical medium, a space-filling substance or field. This is why you get a lot of people that think it's magnetic field or whatever, because they see that field and think, oh, it's got to propagate through a field. Thought to be necessary as a transmission medium for the propagation of electromagnetic or gravitational force. So, in other words, the ether was just, even based on the globe that days, it was just based on a type of structured medium. Everything has to flow through. So it's as good as saying it is air kind of thing. It's just everywhere. That's what the ether is, and that's why it actually has to be physical. Yeah, all perceptible matter comes from a primary substance. This was Nikola Tesla, which a lot of the people today actually want to give. He's like the father of the ether, you can call it today, because I mean most flat earthers, even on the global news that of flat earth, push for this with Nikola Tesla. So this is just some experiments showing with the Tesla coil and everything, with the fields around it, with electromagnetism. So it's just practically the belief that because we have a field based on electromagnetism, so therefore something has to propagate. So that would be an invisible medium, the ether, for it to propagate, in other words. So that field would be the ether. I really do hope at the end of this it's going to make more sense to some of the people that don't really understand where the ether comes from, kind of thing. And then I also hope it's going to just clear things so people can have both sides of the story, because like I said, at the end of the day, it's your own opinion if you believe it or not. I was in that case believing it, but I'll give my reasons why I don't anymore. This is exactly what everybody's putting. It's just the frequency and vibration. In other words, the ether would...
Have you ever heard of Tesla's radiant energy pattern? I think I've shown it on my channel before.
Yeah, it's that's got to do with the resonance. I was just showing it on now, with the different frequencies.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, I was just showing it now. I'll actually put the links in after for the chat for everybody. This is still on Proving Ether Part 1, because like I was trying to tell everybody, when I first got into Flat Earth, I was 100% for the ether, no doubt. And I was trying to do research into trying to prove it. And at the end of the day, I came to a dead end that I just had to say to myself, well, listen, yeah, I can't prove it, so it's definitely not feasible. But I'm not going to...
I look at it like wireless electricity, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at the Aether, or whatever you want to call it, you know? Like wireless electricity, like how Tesla had his wireless car, you know? But
yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to explain to everybody. The ether is actually just seen as a propagation medium for the magnetic forces and everything, for the electromagnetic waves. Because the belief is that you require this propagation medium for the waves to exist. Because it's the same if you have water, the ripple, you need the actual medium, the water, to have that wave ripple. And that's what the people believe ether to exist. Now to actually prove
okay, I see, okay.
Yeah, but now to actually prove it's a medium of substance, which is another thing. That's where it comes the difficult part.
Right, exactly, because, you know, when you're doing things on a physics basics, you know, like a physics show, right, you got to cover every single bit. But, yeah, philosophy-wise or whatever, yeah, our ancestors talk about the Aether quite a bit.
Yeah. That's why, I mean, if you could see on YouTube at the moment, also showing a bit of ferromagnetism and stuff, because I do also explain a bit of the difference between the dielectrics and stuff. That's why it's actually, it's funny to me that the people are actually coming up with this only now, this argument. I mean, I've checked this things they're only showing on Globusters and things now is something I researched like 7 years ago.
Have you heard of that guy Ken Wheeler?
Yeah, that's where they get most.
I'm not sure if he's a Glober or not.
No, he's a Glober. But
yeah, but it's funny because he comes off as a flat earther to me when I listen to his stuff a lot of the times. Sometimes I wonder if what his personal cosmology is.
I think he's personally just avoiding to say he's flat Earth because he needs the subscribers. How much of these subscribers and stuff are Globers?
I think you're right. I think he's a closet flat earther. I really do.
So he has to play against the flat Earth and ridicule them a bit so he can keep his how can I say, keep his audience.
Exactly.
This is actually a video from Ken Wheeler, as far as I know. One of his very old videos where I'm showing how the magnetism affects the pattern of light with a laser. Yeah, it's
I
Ken
like
Wheeler.
his channel. He's got good stuff on there.
Yeah, some things I don't really agree with him with, but some things I would say he's quirky.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, that was the first video. I'm gonna before you watch number 2.
On the particle can occur. This is the fundamental magnetic force. In this video, we will present a demonstration of the effect. In other videos, we will use the concept of the magnetic force to explain other demonstrations, including a jumping wire and a loudspeaker. This is a cathode ray tube, which produces a beam of electrons. The beam is visible due to argon gas in the tube. The electrons here are moving so fast that gravity is negative. Watch what happens when I bring a magnet near the beam. The beam deflects, which shows that there is a transverse force.
Now you see, they're saying now because it has a field attracting it, they have to say the ether is the propagation medium.
Hey, Flatzoid, have you heard of cymatics? CYMA.
Yeah?
TICS.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Have you checked anything onto it?
Yeah. I just feel like if people wanted to understand the truth of this reality and how it's made, look into cymatics.
It's quite interesting. We can actually do a whole discussion on cymatics at a stage if you really wanted to. I'll just have to set up a nice presentation actually. Oh yeah, and if you guys don't know, Mr. Scholar has an awesome channel. Please do go and watch his channel. Mr. Scholar has some great archives that he shows through. Definitely worth it to watch. The Sagnat experiment. I don't know if you've known Malcolm Bowden. He does some great, used to do some great presentations.
This produced interference fringes. He then rotated the whole table at 2 revolutions per second and found that the fringes changed. This result has very significant implications in science. It works as follows. A beam of light leaves directions until they eventually reach the splitter, which also recombines them. There, they then go on to the photographic plate, where they have interference fringes. In this simplified version, we see that the beam is split into two, the red and the blue again, and they go round the circuit and are recombined at the splitter and recombining prism, so that they again produce the fringes on the photographic plate. Now let us rotate the table. Before we do so, there is the very important subject of the effect of the ether. The Michelson-Morley experiment failed to detect the 30 kilometers per second motion of the Earth through the ether. So as to overcome...
Did you guys hear that? He said they failed to detect a motion of the Earth through the ether. Just pay attention. Through the ether. That means they were trying to pick up the motion of the Earth through the ether. They could not pick it up.
On this problem, Einstein simply abolished the ether in his relativity theory. The very significant result of the Sagnac experiment was that it proved that the ether existed. Let us see how it did this. It is a fundamental feature of relativity that it claims that as there is no ether, light travels away from a source at the same speed relative to the source, whether the source is moving or not. Thus, whether the table is turning or not, the fringe patterns should stay the same. But if the ether exists, once the light...
Wait, just real quick.
Yeah.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
The audio for the video is really low. If you want the audience,
Oh, is it very low?
I can barely hear it.
Okay, I'm going to put it a bit louder, see if it's going to work better.
The source, the speed of the light is controlled
Is that better?
by the ether, independent of the speed of the table, mirrors, etc., as we see here. So
Yeah,
let's
that's
see
better.
what happens when we rotate
Okay.
the table. Here, the light is split, and the red and blue lights go in opposite directions. But notice that the left-hand mirror has moved around in such a direction that the distance the red light has to travel is further. Now in relativity, the same time should be taken because the splitter is also moving and the distance between them is the same.
Mm-hmm.
But now imagine that the ether exists and the speed of the light is controlled by the stationary ether. Imagine the ether like a thick treacle that limits how fast the light can travel, independent of the motion of the light source, the splitter, or the mirrors.
See, this is what I was trying to explain. The ether is simply just believed to be a propagation medium. So it would be an invisible medium that is just that's changing the light propagation going through. So if it takes longer, it's because of the ether, in other words. So the Sagnac disproved obviously Einstein's theory of relativity because it would go the same. It doesn't matter because you're on the same reference frame. But because you've got a different reference frame and has a different speed to the light, therefore they're claiming it is the ether. So it's just the belief that you have the ether as a propagation medium that changes the speed of the light.
The result is that the red light takes longer to reach the left-hand mirror. Similarly, the right-hand mirror is coming towards the blue light, so it reaches the mirror quicker. After they change ends, the red light again takes longer to reach the recombiner, whilst the blue light gets there quicker again. So they reach the photographic plate with a delay between them, and this changes the fringe pattern. In fact, Sagnac, using the speed of the rotation of the table, calculated how much the fringes should change, and found that they did change by just that amount. The crucial feature of this experiment is that it demonstrates that the ether does exist, which demolishes relativity.
There's just a few things here. I agree that the Sagnet effect disproves Earth's rotation, but this is why globebusters believe that it picked up the ether rotation because of the Sagnet effect. But that is still just having a belief that there is a medium causing this. It could just be an effect of the rotation of the reference frame that is causing this to happen. I mean, there's a few things, but yeah, at the end of the day, it shows more for the ether if you believe it in the ether, and it shows it could be a different effect. How do we know what the effect is really causing it? I mean, how he is explaining it, yes, it shows there has to be some kind of media that causes propagation for it to slow down.